sigh, plunged in the depths of the soul. Jean Paul. What do you believe? Do you believe in God or nature? Creation or evolution? Divine purpose or chaos theory? Regardless of what you believe, each of us has formed definite opinions about these contested subjects. We live in a society that emphasizes the strength and capability of the individual. But with this trust in our self-reliance comes a responsibility to educate ourselves before making decisions and to reinforce our beliefs with factual knowledge. As a person who has studied religion since a young age, and as a fellow member of a nation that practices a policy of religious freedom, I ask that you educate yourself, not only of your own beliefs, but of the beliefs of others as well. Now that we have defined our purpose, we shall move on to addressing the problem in its various forms. On November 26, 2008, religious extremists in Mumbai, India, led a massacre against unarmed citizens. According to the Information Press Bureau of the government of India, 166 people were killed and 308 were injured. Some groups debate that Christians, Jews, and foreign visitors were specifically targeted for these attacks. The first part of our problem is religious intolerance. We've all been victims of intolerance. Every single person in this room has been offended because someone else unfairly disregarded your beliefs. But you have also unfairly disregarded someone else's beliefs and have offended them. In other words, we are all guilty of intolerance in some small measure. As stated by George Santayana, a famous novelist and philosopher, intolerance is a form of egotism, and to condemn egotism intolerantly is to share in it. Allow me to say this. You cannot convince people of what you believe by hurling insults, destroying property, or attacking innocents. You cannot convince people by tearing down the Christian cross or burning the Quran. You cannot convince people through hatred, violence, or fear. But sadly, this happens all too often in our world. Intolerance has much milder forms as well, leading us on to the second aspect of the problem. Ultimately, each of us believes that we are correct in our beliefs, and that we have more knowledge, a deeper understanding, and more logical justification of our beliefs than others do. Again, this is something true of all of us. Otherwise, we would just believe what's popular or interesting to most other people, and not trust ourselves to choose such important things as morality, faith, and identity. It's true. We must be the judges of our own needs and desires, and we need to be fair when considering what's best for us and what we really want. But these often discourage us from doing so. Generalizations and stereotypes are illusions that we, myself included, use to convince ourselves that our beliefs are correct, and by portraying everything else as wrong. By using these, we exempt ourselves from a fair investigation of other beliefs, but we only rob ourselves of true knowledge. I have a close friend who I'd like to discuss philosophy with, and though we don't always see eye to eye, we generally find our conversations to be interesting and informative. But one day, my friend and I were talking about a subject which was very sensitive to both of us, and halfway through the conversation, they just stopped talking and listened. When I saw my friend again, they told me, "I thought about what you said. I think that you're right." I went home that day and I looked in the mirror. And in that moment, I realized that everything I believe in could be wrong, and that I would have betrayed my friend by convincing them of it. I have never looked at my beliefs as seriously as I do now. So now you must ask yourself, is what I believe right? Or wrong? I believe that defines our problem. Now we address the solution. And the solution for intolerance is actually not tolerance. I don't really like the word tolerance. It makes it sound as though someone else is doing something wrong. You're tolerating what they're doing by not doing anything about it. Tolerance is not the solution, but these three are. You see, you cannot fight hatred with tolerance. You must fight with love. You cannot replace violence with tolerance. You must replace it with peace. You cannot face fear with tolerance. You must face it with courage. I chose sympathy, respect, and understanding. Because even if you don't agree with that person, you can still respect them. It's going to take more than legislation to stop intolerance. If we're willing to accept these three as defining principles of our code of conduct, we move on to the second part of the solution. Communicate. Share ideas. Nothing will better disabuse you of stereotypes than to communicate with other people. This is the best way to discuss your feelings and thoughts. It can help you relate to other ways of thinking, just as visiting a foreign country might help you understand other cultures. And understanding the beliefs of others can help you better understand your own beliefs. So talk to family, talk to friends, talk to acquaintances, talk to people whom you disagree with, keeping our code of conduct in mind, of course. Develop your understanding, compare your ideas, challenge your beliefs. Trust me when I say this, it's worth it. However, there is one more thing essential to solving our problem. This brings us to our final and most important point. You must educate yourself. According to Catherine Chin, chairman of the Department of Religious Studies at the University of California, Davis, religion is a major force in the human experience. It has shaped the world's history, literature, art, politics, culture, ethics, and economics. Moral and ethical issues are at the heart of every religious tradition. Encouraging students to discuss them in an academic setting is the greatest importance to creating educated, thinking individuals. If we are going to take our beliefs seriously, we must support them with rational logic. Why do you believe what you do? It's your responsibility to know. For my final words, nothing would serve better than a quote from whystudy.religion.org. Overall, religion is powerful and persistent, and it shows no signs of disappearing. It provokes heartfelt commitment, eloquent expression, forthright action, and intense debate. For both practitioners and observers, for everyone who wants to be informed about the world around them. Religion is an intensely curious phenomenon that calls out for better understanding. My friends, this is not a temporary challenge. This is a lifelong mission. I am asking that you discover who you are in this mystery we call existence. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Go ahead.
If you don't mind, what religion do you practice?
Okay, I'm actually a Christian. Yeah. Go ahead.
While you are a Christian, do you also believe in the theory of evolution?
No, I do not. I'm going to provide a resource for you for that. If I were you, I would read Lee Strobel's book, The Case for a Creator. That's actually really interesting, mostly scientific. He's a journalist. Yes?
You say that we need to educate ourselves, which I agree with, but what
Yes.
would you suggest? Like how?
How? I would look up probably the history of religions. That's also important. But not so much a focus of just strictly academic. You can look around a bit too. One thing I would certainly recommend is The Privileged Planet. You can just YouTube this. It's about an hour 15-minute long video. You don't have to agree with the assertion, but it provides some really fascinating information about the planet that we live on. Yeah.
You believe that there's more than one God?
One God, yes. I do.
Do you believe there's more than one?
More than one? No.
Just one.
Just one.
So you believe that the Christian God is the God?
I have my reasons for believing that too. I've compared other religions. I read the Quran, read the Bible. I've studied all these histories. Buddhism is interesting. Yeah. Anything else?
Good. Thank you very much.